Come on, take us home.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Come on. There are so many reasons to celebrate.
I know you have a bunch of stories. I have a bunch of stories.
Honestly, it's because of the lens that I choose to see the world. I look for reasons to celebrate for anything.
When I taught kindergarten and first grade, we would celebrate International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
I have the greatest group of mama friends who find reasons to celebrate about anything.
Mr. Zachary, I can tell you're silly. It's true. I do like to be silly. I'm a 41-year-old man that enjoys being youthful.
We did a surprise flash mob dance.
Yes!
The screaming, laughter, and joy was priceless and immeasurable.
Our girl, Dr. Ignacio, she can turn up the party.
We need more celebration than we do cool. There's joy in being embarrassed. What's the big deal?
If you live in a place of vulnerability and you are pursuing joy, look at the memories and the connection that can happen when you're like, just have some fun.
Just have fun. Welcome to Simply Enough.
This is Zachary and Elizabeth, and thanks for tuning in to Simply Enough.
Where we celebrate you.
Because you are enough.
If you're liking our podcast, we'd love it if you'd share with your friends and family.
And then rate and review to raise our visibility and spread the message of enoughness.
We love you, and remember, you are simply enough.
Just as you are.
Period.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Simply Enough. I'm Mr. Zachary Leonard.
And I'm Dr. Elizabeth Ignacio.
And welcome for those of you that are listening. Thank you for coming back. For those of you who are watching, you can see that Dr. Ignacio has a beautiful set of flowers as kind of a crown on the top of her head for our listeners. We're trying to paint a little picture of these beautiful white flowers with green leaves and whatnot, and has this particularly special significance in Hawaii. So for those of you in the mainland or the continent, or even our international listeners, Dr. Ignacio, can I put you on the spot? Can you just talk a little bit about the significance of what you're wearing for our episode today?
So I'm wearing a hakule, otherwise known as lei po'o. And many people know of the lei that we wear in Hawaii around our neck, like a garland around our neck, but this is actually a garland on our head. We wear it for hula, and there's two types of hula kahiko and hula awana. Lei po'o, or the hakule, we wear as a garland on our head, but specifically on our forehead. So it's not like the forest sprites in A Midsummer Night's Dream where it's worn on the top like a crown. Mm-hmm. It's actually worn lower on the forehead, and it's a garland of beauty and of joy and celebration. And I'm wearing it because I'm celebrating Frugal Mom Day. What I mean by that is I never like to waste beauty, and I love to savor and appreciate beauty. And so hakule in particular, or lei po'o, tend to last a little bit longer as long as we take care of it and preserve it. They last a little longer than the lei that we wear on our necks. And so this is actually my daughter's hakule from a week ago, and I didn't want it to go to waste. And so I wanted to share the beauty of not only the lei itself, but share and relish the memories of the event that we were celebrating when my daughter was wearing it. Plus, they're not cheap. And so Frugal Mom Day, which is every day, I'm wearing it again. So for those of you listening, switch over to YouTube and see what, an authentic Hawaiian lei po'o or hakule looks like. And that's how we share our aloha with you.
Thank you for talking a little bit about that, and also just bringing up when somebody would receive a hakule or a lei po'o. You talked about moments of celebration or moments of joy, and that actually is, with graduations and whether or not you celebrate the 4th of July or it was just my birthday a couple of days ago.
Yay!
There's a celebratory feeling often in June. June often tends to be a month when a lot of people do get married, right? May, June, this is wedding season. So I just like the idea of pulling up moments of joy or celebrations, and you wearing the hakule, the lei po'o, feels particularly fitting given this topic, this idea. And before we get into it, because you actually, with your daughter's celebration, I think have some fun stories to share of unadulterated joy. But I want to share a quick little story that hit me the other day. I was working with a school in the Bay Area of San Francisco, and I got to be around kids again. And I haven't really had as many touch points with children the last year, given my work, also looking for work. And I forget just how wonderful children energy is, right?
Mhm.
And how they love to play and they love to explore. And it's unapologetic and it's
Mhm.
just so pure and innocent. And then also what they say, right? I was talking with this boy who's just super fun and he didn't realize that he'd forgotten that his name was on his lunch bag. And I caught that. Let's just call him Asher. And Asher and I hadn't formally met each other, but he's walking by in his line because they're at their little camp and he's got his mask on. And I just turned to him and I said, Asher, are you going to have a good day? And he goes, I don't know you. And I said, you're right, but I think you should because I'm kind of cool. And then he goes, well, I'm kind of cool too. And I said, oh, Asher, I know you're kind of cool. I can tell. And he goes, how'd you know my name? And I said, Asher, there's a clue somewhere on you that helped me learn what your name is. And he like thinks about it for a second. And he's got his mask on. So you just see his eyes like get super small. And then he goes, you read my lunchbox, didn't you? And I said, Asher, I did. That's how I knew. He goes, what's your name? So I said, oh, it's Mr. Zachary. And he goes, Mr. Zachary, I can tell you're silly. And, I have been told that by children before. When I was a kindergarten teacher, sometimes the kids were asked like, how would you describe Mr. Leonard? And silly was often the word that they used. And I couldn't think of any higher honor bestowed upon me by children because silly is really how they approach life, right? Just with this playful, youthful, innocent outlook on life. And that's true. I do like to be silly. I'm a 41-year-old man that enjoys being youthful. And that doesn't always happen for men of my age or women of my age or people of my age. And I don't care because I like to celebrate. I like to live in moments of joy. I like to live in moments of youthful innocence and playfulness. And that happens often in times of celebrations that I get to witness friends, loved ones, family members, adults who kind of let go of whatever labels they've held on to. And then you see them just live in the moment and find just joy. So I want to kick it over to you. I know you have a bunch of stories. I have a bunch of stories, but given the celebration that you had for your daughter, were there moments of this that existed? This just like indulgence in unapologetic joy and celebrations.
Well, the reason why, you say that, I have a lot of stories akin to this is because I do. And it's because of the lens that I choose to see the world. I look for reasons to celebrate for anything. So again, Frugal Mom Day, totally made that up. But that's why, I can think of reasons. I have a Facebook post, my morning of my first ever colonoscopy, and it was Happy Colonoscopy Day. Oh, that's not a thing. Okay, maybe it's just me, but I'm going to call it Happy Colonoscopy Day because I think there's actually there's reasons, so many reasons in life where we can find throughout the day things and reasons to be grateful. There's same thing. There are so many things in life and throughout our day, things and reasons to celebrate. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I actually do have a lot of stories about celebration because I love celebrating and I love finding and thinking of things to celebrate. Now, this one was the obvious one, which was my daughter's graduation from high school and her birthday. So we just threw a party for her and it was a double celebration. And especially because of the pandemic, she didn't have a sweet 16 and this was one of the first kind of major gatherings again, for people in the community to get together, and we really wanted to celebrate and to enjoy. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to surprise her. One of the best things about being a mom is embarrassing our children. And so I wanted to surprise her with what I thought would embarrass her. Though she's not, in a previous episode, we talked about how she's not easy to embarrass because she doesn't get embarrassed easily, which I love that about her because she's similar, but even better than I in terms of finding joy and silliness in anything and everything that she does. But still, I wanted to try to embarrass her for kicks. And I have the greatest group of mama friends who just bring me so much joy, and they find reasons to celebrate about anything. And so I just thought this was going to be an opportune time. Their kids were going to be at this party as well. And many of them also were graduating from high school. So I just thought, what a great thing for all of us to celebrate each other as mamas, because we have our own relationships because of our kids, and then also celebrate our kids. So long segue into what we did, which was a surprise flash mob dance.
Yes.
So we took a TikTok dance called Fancy Like by Walker Hayes. And I sent via text all of these mamas the TikTok dance, and then actually found also online some dance schools were actually teaching the choreography to this TikTok dance. And so sent those videos, and to reassure them, I said, one of the videos that I sent of dance school was for kids. And so they had actually different levels of learning the dance. Like there's even a way to learn the dance seated, or just the hand standing still. And then of course, all out the full body movements. And so I sent it to the mamas, and, thank God, as much as they jokingly protested, methinks doth protest too much.
Too much.
But they were all in, and I said, you can learn this at any level you want, but let's do this for fun. And of course they said, oh my gosh, we're going to be so embarrassed, and are we going to have enough liquid courage? I'll say, I'll provide the liquid courage, don't worry. But I also said, remember why we're doing this. This is all for fun. This is like for silliness, and to, if we embarrass ourselves, it's embarrassing to the kids, and that's fun for that too, to be embarrassed and embarrassing. Like there's no harm in that. And also we're modeling for our kids, stepping out of our comfort zone, but there's joy in doing that. And there's joy in being embarrassed. What's the big deal? Yeah. And then I wrote out also, for those that are very verbal as opposed to visual, I wrote out the choreography to the lyrics, so that, for particular words in the lyrics, to hit this particular, choreographed movement, or this particular hand position for this word in the lyrics. So we got it all covered. And then what we did is we veiled the flash mob that night in what looked like a mama dance contest, for which Gracie was going to be the judge. So she was seated front and center for a hokey pokey dance contest. So we started off with the hokey pokey, but then after the first verse of the hokey pokey, that's what it's all about. Then we broke into a Fancy Like TikTok dance, and the screaming that occurred, and the dancing from within the audience. They didn't come out on the dance floor, but the dancing that occurred, in the audience, and the screaming and the laughter and the joy was priceless and immeasurable. Honestly, like what it did, it was just such a moment of letting down our guard and letting down our hair, and giving permission to the audience to let down their guard and let down their hair. And so they were screaming and woot-wooting. And then, speaking of celebration, because that was, and by the way, it's taken me longer to describe this than the actual dance. So the dance itself, the TikTok dance, it was like 27 seconds. Add on top of that the hokey pokey, which was like 30 seconds. We're talking less than a minute, but that 57 seconds provided the stimulus and the impetus and the moment of such joy and celebration that it then segued to the rest of the evening, because the first song that we asked the DJ to play immediately after was Kool and the Gang's Celebration.
Yes.
And like everybody at the party, young and old. And by young, I even mean, you're talking about the silliness of youth. And, you're speaking primarily of, the lower school, kindergarten, first grade. Well, that as teenagers, it's important to be cool. And look at things with disdain, like, that's so uncool. But what was amazing, and this is a testament to the type of friends that Gracie has also. So shout out to you, class of 2022, and her soccer teammates. They abandoned the feeling or the need to be cool, and they jumped on the dance floor too. Yes. And the parents jumped out on the dance floor, because we all know the song Celebration. And I have had many people, students as well as parents, come up to me that night after the party or the next day, text me to say, That was one of the best parties that they've ever been to, which has nothing to do with like me as the hostess, but it was the joy that was contagious. Because one of the comments that I got a lot was they've never seen a dance floor packed from the very first song through the rest of the night. It was just such a time of joy and celebration and letting down your guard and letting down your hair and chee-hooing till your throat was sore. And we need more of that. Mm-hmm. We need more celebration than we do cool. Yeah. And it can happen at any age. Mm-hmm. It's not just we've relegated it to the young, mm-hmm. to the point where we envy, mm-hmm. you know, the very young in their ability to be in the moment and celebrate. But we all need that. Yeah. Cool teenagers and us oldies but goodies. We need to enjoy and celebrate and find reason to celebrate. And then express that celebration.
And the proof of that is literally in the text messages that you got the next day, which the memory that is now created as a result of that experience, that lasting memory, is the proof that, yes, we do need more of it.
We do need it. Less than 1 minute has fed joy and created and instilled a night of celebration. And then the days following, the memories of it. I still get texts about it, actually, and the party was last week.
Well, the other piece of it is, and for our listeners, I don't think that you're going to be surprised by this, but our girl, Dr. Ignacio, she can turn up the party when she needs to, because you love to laugh, you love to smile, you love to dance, you love all those things. So you can imagine this girl front and center, right? Just leading a group of mamas, and for them to have you as you know, the model of like of what it looks like to let go. And then it, you know, I know you don't want it to be about you, and it's really not about you. In that moment, you were giving them permission, right? They were really looking to you,
and they gave me theirs, because I'll tell you, you know, no judgment or anything, but I don't know if this would have been pulled off. No, in fact, I know. I won't hedge. I know this would not have been pulled off were it not for those very mamas being game and being like, all right, what the hell? and they did, you know, and we kept it a surprise from our, you know, all our daughters and the rest of the audience. It was a surprise to everybody except the DJ and us. I asked one friend, to video it so we could capture it, but she didn't know what was coming. I just said, when you see all the moms on the dance floor, can you video this? Nobody else knew. It was so fun.
What was Gracie's reaction?
Oh, you can, if we might need to post this on our website.
Okay, I was going to suggest it, but you know, out of respect.
But she was all in. You can, if we do post it, if you watch the video, she is right there doing the moves. Because again, it's a TikTok dance. I didn't do the choreography. And she's doing all the moves and she's screaming and she's woot-wooting. And we have, which will not be posted because, you know, just like what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas, what went on at that party otherwise stays in that party. But we have videos of dancing throughout the night of her and her friends and her with us as the mamas and the mamas amongst their children and the coach with the team. Like, it was amazing how everybody just let loose. Just let loose.
Yeah. What a memory to have now, right? And there are those people in my life, and you are definitely one of them, who seek to celebrate, who seek opportunities for joy, who seek it out. And because I also think, and we've talked about vulnerability in the past, when you live in a place where vulnerability is truly a centeredness, and also a moment to be brave and courageous. Brene Brown talks about that. If you let go of whatever happens, right, and you live in a place of vulnerability and you are pursuing joy, look at the memories and the connection that can happen when you're like, fuck it. Let's just have some fun.
Just have fun.
Let's just have some fun.
And it's so funny too, because So I did post this video on Facebook, not for public, for friends. So the audience is friends, but my college friends and my med school friends, it brought back memories of the joy that we shared on the dance floor in college and the joy that we shared in celebrations in med school. And I think everybody, especially nowadays because of the pandemic, everybody just needs that little spark. And the sparks are everywhere. Just look for it and then and light it and celebrate it.
Yeah.
Because back to college and med school, it's so funny because yes, liquid courage was available. It was an open bar for those 21 and older, and it's just so funny because I let loose. I was doing cheerleading moves. I was a collegiate cheerleader and Division I, so I was doing cheerleading moves to like YMCA, and it's so funny because my friends afterwards are like, are you okay to drive? Do you need a ride home? And I laughed because I said, I have had 1.5 drinks for this 5 hours that we've been here. And they're like, they didn't believe it. They're like, oh, come on, you totally let loose. I said, no, welcome to me when I was in college and med school, in that it doesn't take alcohol. I don't need to drink courage because for me, it doesn't take courage. It's not courageous. It's just like the music is booming and I'm in a great mood and there's reason to celebrate, and especially celebrating other people. Oh, I love celebrating other people. Like it's not about me. I just have so much joy celebrating other people. I don't need the alcohol. And like they were incredulous. So I called the banquet captain, Chemo. I said, Chemo's the one that gave me the drinks. Ask him how many drinks did I have?
You called him over.
Said, I did call him over because people wouldn't believe, like, okay, you behaved like this and you weren't wasted. I'm like, no, because I don't need it. I enjoyed and I like to have fun. And was that very doctorly of me? No, but I'm not showing up at this party as a doctor. I'm showing up as a celebratory mom, celebrating my daughter and her friends and her teammates, and I'm celebrating my gratitude for the friends and family that were there, because this was celebrating those who have been there on my daughter's journey. And I was grateful for them. And I was grateful to see them all in one room finally after 2 years of this pandemic. I just had so much joy and I was grateful for them. So I didn't need the liquid courage. And we said this in a previous episode, it's not joy that makes me grateful. It's gratitude that makes us joyful. And I was just overflowing with that, overflowing.
What a comment to be made that you needed liquid courage to do that, when maybe for other people, but like, if that's what you need to let go, put your guard down or step into it. Okay. But at the same time, that's not what everybody needs. And and for you to be like, no, I just like joyful moments and celebrations. I don't need.
Did you hear the music? We chose this playlist. These songs matter.
Time. Come on. Right?
We had it all going on.
I just went to an Earth, Wind and Fire and Carlos Santana concert, and the people around me, I mean, it couldn't have been a more diverse group of ages and races and people, and they're just dancing and smiling and singing and just like loving life. And it's like, yes, we don't need anything other than each other and music or fellowship to just find joy and make memories and laugh and
be
celebrate.
Without reservations.
Yeah.
Right? Be without reservations.
So I had a couple of thoughts. So the first is, when you were talking about this event, and I was just thinking of you being this catalyst for maybe pushing people out of their maybe their like comfort zone, like, oh, I'm going to sit here. What?
I physically pushed them. I pulled them out of their chairs. I pushed them on the dance floor. But literally, it's so funny because the mood was so lifted that whatever it might have taken to push them on the dance floor, to a person, every person, when I did that, when they were on the dance floor for 10 seconds, they stayed. even when I, just as the hostess, I would get them on the dance floor, dance with them a little bit, for like 2 8 counts. And then I would leave like social butterfly to like, gather other people, and they stayed. So those that had reservations of like, no, I'm not going to go up there. No, 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 don't pull me. Don't pull me. They stayed on the dance floor.
Yes.
Because they were given permission, and then they gave themselves permission. Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt, but when you said push people, I'm like, I literally did push and pull, but then they stayed. It didn't take much for them to stay.
Well, I wish I could have been there to be there, because I would have loved to have cut a rug with you and also just see that, because I can only imagine the energy that was there. And like I was saying, when I think of you and others in the room being sparkers, those who spark that kind of release of the guards and the wave of joy. I think of how simple it is. And this is going to be such a silly reference, but there was a video a couple of years ago of a woman who put on a Chewbacca mask that went viral. And she puts on this Chewbacca mask. She's sitting in her car and she's recording herself. And as the Chewbacca mask opens, right, because it's kind of hinged like with your jaw, and she opens and goes, right? And she cannot stop laughing. Every time she opens it, it makes that sound. Then she starts laughing. But when she laughs, she opens her mouth even more, and then makes her laugh even more. And what we as viewers were invited into is just this person's private moment that she chose to record and then share, but this private moment of joy and really of celebration of this new little toy that she got, that she was super excited about. And it millions upon millions of views. And then I think she was on the Ellen show. And I think, but that little moment of celebration, truly, I can only imagine if it did it for more people than just me, obviously it did, just sparked like you, a moment to just release and let your guard down. And I can't even imagine how many people just similarly got like the big belly laughs watching her. Mm-hmm. It's a dance floor. It's even just putting on a Chewbacca mask. Like, people searching for moments to celebrate can pioneer, or at least spread in the best way possible for others that may struggle to like let their guard down a little bit. Maybe that guard is actually easier to topple, right? Or maybe it starts to like go away, and maybe then they become similarly ambassadors for celebration or joy, or they then are like you and they spark it for others.
Absolutely. And laughter, joy, smiling is contagious. I mean, I don't want to get so I don't want to bring this light, joyful episode down, but there is science behind it in terms of the mirror neurons, and how, if one smiles at you for a sustained amount of time, you cannot help but smile back, hard as you might try. Sean Acor, gave a great TED talk about these mirror neurons. But it's real. And it's not even that you have to, it's like joy in life. It's not even so much that you have to search for where to, find celebration. It's choosing, because they're right there.
Yeah.
I choose today to be National Colonoscopy Day. I choose today to be Frugal Mama Day. And so I'm celebrating by wearing my hakule. It's choosing as opposed to searching like it's elusive and rare.
Right. Well, to that end, my dad owns a playground installation company, and my dad likes to dibble dabble in these moments of celebration, which always is such a nice juxtaposition, because my dad can be serious when he wants to be. So when the kind of these like silly moments come out of him, you're like, okay, all right, like I'm on board with this. This is great. So September 19th for my dad and his crew they always celebrate International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Who knew this was a thing? But my dad knew. So they hoist up the skull and crossbones on like the antenna of my dad's truck or whatever. And that's, flying on that day. All the members of the crew get a pirate name, and they have to talk like this, they all matey, and they got to drop the R's and everything. So I thought, you know what? We're going to do this in my classroom. So when I taught kindergarten and first grade, we would celebrate International Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I would greet the kids at the door with an eye patch, and I'd be like, hello, Sophia, welcome. How are ye, mates? And the kids would know, say, I'm good, Mr. Leonard. Okay, now walk the plank, and the whole day they had have to answer with, some kind of "Arr, matey," and we tell pirate jokes and stuff. And it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just fun. And then at the end of the year, we would always do some kind of reflection, like, reflect upon the year, tell me something that stands out. And they would always talk about that. It wasn't like, oh, when I read this book, or I did this math problem, or I did, I liked International Talk Like a Pirate Day because that experience was way more memorable, of just pure laughter and joy and celebration for something seemingly random, but it didn't matter.
But they still got the learning done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the only reason why I have to throw that in there is because I want to point out that it's not either or. So though they might have enjoyed and remembered and relished and recalled the Talk Like a Pirate Day, it didn't mean they didn't get the job done or didn't learn the lesson. And that's the same thing for adults too. You can you can choose a reason to celebrate. You can be silly while also getting your job done and doing the work. And like I said, at the party, I might not have been behaving doctorly, but should, God forbid, somebody fall on the dance floor and need me as an orthopedic surgeon, I know exactly what to do and how to be in that moment. But there's joy and silliness and celebration in us just as much there is adulting and seriousness and, generating a salary and providing. There's love and joy and silliness in us as well.
And what does it even mean, right? To be doctorly, because who's to say a doctor can't? I've seen videos. I have also experienced this myself where I walk into a doctor's office and there's an energy of playfulness, right? Among the staff, among the doctors. I had a doctor when I was in college who came in and every time was like, tell me 2 cool things that happened with you today. And I'm sitting there, I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm there for a reason. And the doctor's first priority was like, let's celebrate something first. Mm-hmm. And that energy was palpable in the office. And so who's to say that's not doctorly? You know what I mean? I like that we're just like breaking those labels down with those expectations, with that meaning that people put on it too. I was thinking of one other thing. A couple of schools that I've worked at, we used a particular curriculum that came out of Teachers College. And these units of study always ended right after, let's say, a poetry unit or a nonfiction writing unit or whatever unit. There was always a quote unquote a requirement for a celebration. And you had to plan the celebration as if it were on par with the launch of the unit or all of the lessons, that you had to be thinking of the manner in which you were going to celebrate, to your point, all of the hard work that was completed as well. Mm-hmm. So you're right. It's not that the work didn't get done. The work did get done. But then there was also a moment to say, no, we're going to celebrate all of the work that got done too. And that celebration is of equal importance and necessity as everything else that we've done up until then.
Absolutely. You celebrate along the way.
Yeah.
You celebrate along the way, not just what has happened, but that very moment. Again, choose, not find, not seek, choose something to celebrate that moment, because that is how you celebrate along the way. And that is how life becomes a celebration. So rather than moments to celebrate, life itself becomes a celebration.
That's awesome. There's just so many moments that I can think of, which is probably why they're so memorable, is because they are such bright spots of joy and laughter and in connection with others. And I'm kind of overwhelmed with like all of these memories that are hitting me right now that you've given me. My brother's wedding is another example where just everybody was on the dance floor. And then we would do that big circle, the circle, and like people would go into the middle and they would be kind of dancing, and then they would back up, and then there would be another person that would go into the middle, and people that I would have never thought would have gone in the middle of this dance floor were in there, like my uncles, my dad, my mom, my brother who was getting married, who, he likes to keep himself pretty chill.
Reserved.
In there. Yeah. Reserved. Yes. And he was in there, and I'm never going to let go of that memory, because
reservations are for restaurants.
Ooh.
Right? Just like validation is for parking, reservations are for restaurants. Let go. Enjoy.
Oh, I have such a smile on my face.
Right, because you have the memories now, and it's just triggering. Not only is it triggering all of these positive memories, but the more you think them, the more your brain, okay, we're going to get scientific again now in terms of neuroplasticity, the more that your brain is going to be wired that way to see things that way. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You know, when you fire these neurons in this manner, that is how your brain chooses to become and chooses to see. That's neuroplasticity. And what if, you know, you have the choice. You can choose to either have your brain look that way, or you can choose also to have your brain look for the negatives and always be, what is there to be worried about? What is there to be fearful of? You choose. I choose celebration. I choose joy.
Yeah.
And it gets easier and easier. And I'm not Pollyanna. I'm the first to, I'm a realist, right? But it's not only is the glass half full, is the glass half empty? Oh, Pollyanna optimist. It's whatever the glass might be, I have a pitcher and I can fill it.
Yeah.
Celebrate that. Celebrate the pitcher.
Celebrate the pitcher.
There's so much to celebrate. I mean, celebrate whatever you want. Celebrate the glass. Celebrate your eyes, that you can choose to look at the world through a lens. Celebrate your brain, that you have the choice. You know,
it's really a choice, isn't it?
It is truly a choice.
And I love that you
said either
said,
way.
Yes, I love that you reframed it. Not find it, but choose it.
Choose it.
Because you don't need to find anything. It's there.
It's there. It's not elusive. It's not a seek and capture. It's right there. Just choose it.
You know, this made me think about some of our other episodes, particularly the ones, you know, where we talked about living in the middle, right? And sometimes, and we focused that episode largely on the previous episode that book ended, like sometimes even just getting out of bed is heroic, and then the struggles maybe that like elite athletes like endure and whatnot. And we're like, no, there's a whole lot in the middle that relates to all of us, which is just kind of an acceptance that sometimes the point is to just put Costco dinner on the table, because all it is you just want to spend time with each other. And I love this parallels in that a celebration can be something traditional, like a graduation or a birthday, but it doesn't have to be. That there's a whole host of reasons in the middle. And
every day,
frugal mom day. Who'd have thought? And you know what? There are no rules. Make it up.
Make it up. Make it up. We said it the same night. Totally make it up.
And I love that you set that up, because you don't have to look for a reason to celebrate. It doesn't have to be a wedding. It doesn't have to be a graduation. It doesn't have to be an anniversary or family reunion. It can be literally getting a Chewbacca mask at the store. And that alone just makes you smile, and you put it on and you record it and you share it with other people. There's a whole host of reasons. I'm
totally going to age myself. You're probably not even going to know this song, but there is a song from Fame, the movie. So not Fame, the TV series, but Fame, the movie. Okay. And it's called Life is a Celebration. And it is literally about how you think, you're living, a mundane life and just slogging through life, and you think that you're alone. But actually the light shines and you see there's so much to celebrate. And it is such an uplifting, simple, super simple song, simple lyrics, simple melody, but it is just so uplifting because it is so possible.
Yeah.
We think to live joyfully or to live with gratitude, boy, that's impossible. Not at all. So possible. Joy is possible. Celebration is possible. Mm-hmm. It's all possible.
It doesn't take much momentum. To your point about just the slightest push got those people out of their chairs, and then they stayed there.
And then they stayed there.
They just kept going.
And not only did they stay there, boom, did they let loose. And you know what? When I say, did they let loose, and I say it with memory, let me also make sure this is very crystal clear. Not a single person that I heard from, or that my daughter heard from, or amongst each other, did they say, oh my God, did you see what so-and-so did? Or, oh my God, did you see how so-and-so danced? Or, oh my God, so-and-so does not have rhythm. Not a single comment like that was made. only what joy, what fun, what silliness, but not silliness with disdain, but silliness like, oh my God, look how that person let loose. And it was so great to see that side of that person. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we have such reservations because we think or worry about what would people say and what would people think, when half the time people aren't even paying attention.
Right.
And when they do, those people that celebrate you, those are your people. And anybody who might look at you with disdain for being happy, oh my God, they ain't your people then. Really? People are gonna piss on you for being happy? They ain't your people.
No joke. Actually, true story. Because as an administrator, when I tried to always be out at Autoline in the morning as kids were getting dropped off. And this was my opportunity to connect with kids, see families and whatnot. But I wasn't just going to stand there. I'm going to give them fist bumps. I'm going to give them the high fives. We might do a little shimmy shake. You know, we might do all the things. And I had a father who, when I was moving back to the continent, when I had a father say to me, you know, I didn't understand you. You know, here's this administrator out there giving fist bumps, smiling, dancing, being goofy, being silly. And I thought, who the fuck is this guy? I mean, he literally said that. So excuse my language, but he said, who the fuck is this guy? And he was, I didn't get it. It took me years to get it, but now I get it. So thank you for helping me see that. And in total truth, when he, on my last day, he came to pick up his children. He got out of the car, gave me a fist bump. Oh. We did kind of like a little like, you know, shimmy, little like move thing, got back in the car and he left. And I thought, yeah. So he wasn't my people at first, but that little nudge over time, that kind of like relentless, unapologetic, this is just who I am, eventually woke him up a little bit.
And that's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
And then he chose the celebration by getting out of the car.
And that's absolutely beautiful. It is beautiful. But the bottom line is, it wasn't about him anyway.
It wasn't.
So whether he accepted you or not, it wasn't about him. You know, you were doing that for each kid coming out of the car, but then also because you were just being you.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You were doing it for you because it gave you joy, and it's doubly joyful when the kid, you know, whatever kid is coming out of the car joins in, then that's double joy.
Yep.
But it wasn't about him.
Nope.
And in many ways too, it wasn't about the kid. You were being you. How easy is that when you are being you? And because it's easy, it's joyful because you are being you.
Yeah. Same with you. Getting
just as you are.
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, that's just me. That's
Life
just us.
is a celebration.
It is. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. What do you think?
Yes, let's.
Yeah.
Full circle. I just want to say, you know, when we talked about the lei po'o or the hakule, and how especially lei is often gifted. That gift is how we share and spread aloha. And aloha is actually, you know, people know it as love or goodbye or hello, but really what aloha is about the giving one's breath to another. That's aloha. That's giving one's breath to another. And one thing that I think about in terms of joy and celebration is, you know, being and living a breath of fresh air, and allowing each other to breathe and have joy. And so full circle for at least this episode, as I wear my hakule, my lepo'o, aloha to you, Zachary, to our listeners and to our viewers, that with this breath of life, this breath of joy, this breath of celebration, that we share and spread that amongst others.
Lucas.
Love you just
Love
as you are.
Just as you
Celebrate. Come on, take us home.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Come on. Woo. Bye, everybody. We love you.
Love you.